Hello and welcome to KU Around the Horn. I'm your host, Mike Downing. Today our experts are Ryan Lane, Nick Lara, Kyle McDonald, and Cody Miller. Let's begin with the NBA. Who will be named regular season MVP? Ryan.
I believe Russell Westbrook will be named regular season MVP. The man is on fire with 42 triple-doubles, which is now a record that hasn't been broken since 1962. In the last 10 games, Russell has averaged 33.4 points, 12.4 rebounds, and 10.2 assists. Stats don't mean a lot, but for Russ it does because he's leading his team into the playoffs. In the month of March, he had 511 points, 158 rebounds, and 166 assists. With the stats that he's been putting up all season, I don't see why he's not named the MVP.
He's definitely amazing. Nick.
I'm going to have to go on the opposite end of that argument. I'm going to go with James Harden. Westbrook may have the most triple-doubles in NBA history in one season, but Harden is only in second place. To add, he also has a higher field goal percentage, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage than Westbrook. Along with the individual numbers Harden has recorded this season, the Rockets have more wins than the Thunder. Along with these individual achievements, wins do count, and they have a better seed going into the playoffs.
Plus Harden has the great beard.
Yes.
Kyle.
Well, Mike, I think we could all agree that the top two MVP choices right now are Russell Westbrook and James Harden. But overall, I think Westbrook has the MVP locked down. Him averaging a triple-double and breaking the NBA record for triple-doubles is an historic thing. Westbrook has single-handedly won his team games since there's not a lot of star-level help around him due to KD leaving. I think he deserves it more than anybody.
Cody.
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in this whole conversation. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard. Nobody really talks about this guy. He averaged 25 points for San Antonio a game. He takes on the best offensive player on the opposing team, and he still puts up 25 points a game. That takes so much energy from him on both sides of the ball, and he led the Spurs to the second best record in the West, just behind Golden State Warriors. So that combined with his offensive and improved offensive play and defensive play, he should be the MVP this season.
I'm a big fan of Kawhi Leonard. Okay, question 2, on to the NFL. True or false? Was it good for the Oakland Raiders to move to Las Vegas? Nick.
I'm going to have to go with true. Why should there be 3 NFL teams in California? This is the National Football League. The league should start expanding to other cities where football isn't present. And if that means relocation, then go for it. When the Raiders moved in 1982 to LA, they were able to win a Super Bowl. With last season's record of 12-4, things are only looking up for the Raiders from here. Maybe a relocation is what they need to bring more glory to this franchise.
Kyle.
I don't think it was a good choice at all. I think that the Oakland Raiders had one of the best fan bases of all time, and then they just hopped up and moved. Not to mention that they moved when they just started to become a playoff contending team with acquiring Marshawn Lynch and Derek Carr becoming a star quarterback. I think that this was all about money and an overall bad move.
Did they acquire Marshawn? Did that go through? Okay,
yeah.
I knew it was pending. Cody.
I think it was a great move by the NFL to move the Raiders to Las Vegas because Las Vegas is a good sports market, more attractive to businesses and companies, sponsorships, players. There could be a problem with quote-unquote Sin City, but I think with boxing being as popular as it is there and the NHL team just announcing that the Golden Knights will be there, I think this is a good move by Oakland. And this fan base isn't going anywhere. I mean, this team just got good. It's only going to get better. Las Vegas isn't that far from California. So this fan base will still follow this team to Las Vegas.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm going to have to say false on this one. I don't think it's a good move for the Raiders to move to Las Vegas or what they call Sin City. It's going to be an absolute nightmare for the organization, and there's 2 reasons why. One reason is the players are going to get in trouble down there. They're going to be distracted with all the events, the tourists, the clubs, etc. The second reason is the fan base. They had probably one of the best fan bases in the NFL. And to leave him like that is kind of like betrayal, so it's not a good move for the Raiders.
Okay, let's conclude with the NHL. Which 2 teams will battle to hoist the Stanley Cup in the NHL 2017? Kyle.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup this year. Even though the Penguins just lost defenseman Chris Letang due to injury, I still believe they have enough star power and depth to get it done. I chose the Blackhawks because they just know what to do to get a win in the postseason, especially with Patrick Kane being an undeniable force. There are no two better playoff teams, so I'm going to stick with them.
Very good. Cody.
I'm going to go with the Capitals and the St. Louis Blues. The Capitals have a firepower with Ovechkin, TJ Oshie, and Nicholas Backstrom. They have one of the best goaltenders in Brandon Holtby, so I think that end will hold up. And St. Louis Blues are just totally manhandling the Minnesota Wild right now, who were their division winners this season. So I think St. Louis can skate. They have a good goaltender. I think they'll make some noise in the West and emerge in that part of a bracket.
Okay, Ryan.
Out of the East, I think it's going to be the Capitals versus the West, which would be Anaheim Ducks. Everyone believes this year that the Capitals are going to win. The Caps have never won a Stanley Cup title, and they have lost the past 2 years in the second round, and lost last year to the Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They are number one seed in the Metro region. They should have an easy first round against the Toronto Maple Leafs, beating them in 5 games, 4-1, and will most likely play the defending champions in the second round, which is the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they will go to Game 7, and they'll win in overtime. After that, it should be an easy ride to the Stanley Cup Finals. For the Ducks, it should also be an easy ride to the Finals as well. They have not won since 2007, and they should have an easy 4-win against the Flames in the first round, and will also beat the Edmonton Oilers in the second round in 6 games, 4-2. And if they get out of the region alive, they should have an easy Finals and play against the Capitals in the final.
Okay, none of the Canadian hockey teams getting any love from our panel. Nick.
I'm going to have to go with the Blues and the Penguins. But to take it a step further, I'm going to say the Blues are going to win it all. The Blues have a new head coach and have been the top defensive team since he took over. They have 10 wins in the last 13 games heading into the playoffs and are looking to keep that momentum going. The Minnesota Wild, their first round matchup, had a rough March leading up to the playoffs. They may have finished with 4 wins the last few regular season games, but I don't think it's enough to just defeat this strongly defended St. Louis team.
Okay, thank you to our experts. Tune in next week when we discuss Major League Baseball and who will win the 2017 World Series.